know if I'm live or not. Let's see. I guess I will be able to see it. Ah, yes. Okay. So I will just double check the sound. Can you see me? Is it better? Can you see me? Is it better? Okay, I think it's better. So, welcome to this third live where we are going to see how to animate some like we are not going to see all the animation all the way to animate into Spline, but for the scene, for the Playmobil scene, I just animate different elements, like like you can see. I can drag and drop some elements, and also I can just hover an element and it make it move. And if you see the little subtlety, when I hover my my arm, actually my hand is moving too. But if I am not moving, if I am not over the arm, the hand is just stop moving. So if you see like how the rotation of the hand is right now, it's like that. And if I move and go back, you see that the rotation is each time is different, because actually it depends to the movement of my arm. So when I over my arm, I have like an animation for my arm, and if I have an animation for my arm, I have an animation for my hand, but I can't have an animation for my hand like that. I mean, on the how I build the animation is like that. If it's like if there is like an if of the hand animation. If the arm is animated, then my hand is going to be animated. If my arm is not animated, then my hand is going to stop moving at the stage where where it is when I'm not over my arm. Then I have another animation, very more simple. If I over my I don't know how to to say it in English, but the horse, like the game horse. If I over it if I over it, it's going to bounce, I would say. So there are actually three sort of animation, and we are going to see these three animation. We are not going to see how I build this scene into Spline. Even if I build everything into Spline, everything is possible to build into Spline, but this is not like what we want to focus on this time. maybe another room is going to be focused on that, but for now we just have we are just going to focus on the animation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to enter my file, and I'm going to explain, like we are going to see how it has been built, and then we are going to do the same, for example, for the other arm and the other hand, and we can do like we can create like another balloon or something like that, because it's super simple to create, and we can reproduce the drag and drop effect, and we can maybe animate a bit like the, I don't know how to say in English neither, but the thing that is on the background with the wheels. So let's go. So if I double click on my arm, actually I've just do everything just before the live, so it's not really well how can I say, rearranged and organized in my hierarchy, but let's organize it together too. So this is my arm, and what you can see is my arm and my hands are together, and when and you can see like the little dot here means that there is or an event. So here it's an event, but it can also be just no event, but different stage. So it can signify different things, or if it, or an event or different stage. So here there is an event. So the event, so each time I'm going to explain a bit for the people that are starting with Spline. So how is organized my window into Spline? On the left column there is my hierarchy, so all the elements that is into my spline, my scene. In the middle it's my 3D scene, and on the right it's the setting that are linked with the selected asset. So here is my arm, but if I deselect everything, if I click on nothing, I would say on the right column is going to be the setting of the whole scene. So we are going to focus on the arm, how it's built. So actually it has an event, so that if it has an event, most of the time it means that it also has the different state. Sorry. So for this one it's two position of the arm, and also you can see that my rotation of my arm is well positioned, so it's easy then to make the rotation. But if for example, oops, oh, if for example my rotation is not like in the middle, I would say, like if for example if I rotate now, it's not going, everything is going to move but not in the right position. So Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z, and what I've done is I just click on nothing, so in the black here in the black, and I select again my group, and before I click on to select my group, I think maybe I will say a mistake. Yes. I click on shift. So oops, up, shift. Oops, no, it's not shift. Sorry, it's command. And when I click on command before selecting my group, I can then modify the gizmo and the position of the gizmo of my group. So here I don't know exactly why, but the hand is going coming with the position of the gizmo of the group, but actually it's just like an easy way to modify the position for another rotation of a group into Spline. So I repeat, is when you hold command before clicking on the group you want to move the rotation, the gizmo of the rotation. So right now I don't want to change the gizmo of the rotation. I just want to see how it has been built. So as you can see, as I have said, there are two different states, and there is an event which is the mouse over event. And what is said in the mouse over event? It said when my mouse is hovering my arm, then I will make a transition between the two states of the target of the arm, and I will change from current, so depends of the position of the arm at any moment. It's going to change from the position of the arm at any moment to state, which is actually this position. So the base state is this one, and the state is this one. And why it's not like base state and why it's current? Because, for example, if I hover my arm and then I go quickly and come back, it's going to you see it's going to not come back to the base state from like come back to the full rotation. So it's going to start with the rotation, for example, in the middle of the rotation. So that's why we don't want the transition to be at base stage, but at current stage. So I repeat again. What is said for this animation is said when my horse is hovering my arm, which is the target, then I'm going to make the transition from the current state to the state which is called state, the second state which is called state, to the state in X second. So here I choose like half a second, and I choose the way how it's going to move. So we can have like different kind of transition. We can have easing out, easing in, easing for both in and out, linear. It's when you make like a rotation in loop, and the loop is like kind of infinite, and you don't want the rotation and you want the movement to be smooth for all the infinite movement. You usually select linear for the movement, but here we are going to use easing and ease out is kind of the most representing of the reality that I used. So so in half a second with an easing out and in. And I don't want this second, so the transition, I don't want it to have a delay. So if I, to explain you, if I add like 10 seconds, no, maybe not 10 seconds, but if I add 2 second delay, let's see what happens. I'm hovering 1, 2, and then it's going to move. And I don't 1, 2, and then it's going to not moving. So it's not exactly what I want because it's look like a bug. So I don't want like a delay on my animation. I don't want neither like a repeat, a delay into repetition. For example, if I want a repetition, each time there is a repetition, do I want a delay? Yes, no. And do I want it to be a loop? So if I click on the loop and I click, for example, on infinite, and then cycle like a ping pong, let's see what happens. I hover my arm, and then even if I'm not hovering anymore my arm, it's like I've like moving, like, you know, the Japanese cat, when you move like an arm of like a leg of the Japanese cat is going to move forever. It looks like that. So this is the kind of animations that we can have, but here we don't want it to be a Japanese cat, so we are going to remove the ping pong and infinite loop. We don't want the loop, we just want when I over my arm, I'm going to make the arm change state. Okay, perfect. So here we have the first animation. Let's create it again for the second arm. So I double click on my arm. I'm going to select arm right, and this one arm left, because it's not otherwise going to be confusing. And I double click on the arm, and then I'm going to change state. So for example, I can move my arm like that for like the second state. And if you remember well, and if you following well, I'm going to create an event. Not at the start, I'm going to make it mouse over. So when I'm going to have my mouse hovering my arm, then an action is going to be created, and this action is going to be a transition between the, so I want my arm, my right arm to transit into current state to state, which is like the arm on the background, in half a second, in an easing movement, and I don't want any delay or anything else. So let's see if it happened well. I'm hovering my arm, and if I not hovering my arm, it's going to change. Okay, perfect. It's a bit weird, but I mean, actually we just want to focus on the animation with like a cool scene, but it's just a class, like a live on some interaction. Then you can see that, as I told you previously, you can see that if I hovering my arm, my left arm, my left hand is going to move. So this is what we want also with our right hand. So I'm going to select my right hand if I can. Oh, why I can't select it? Okay, so if you want to see how I have created it, I can maybe just, so there is there is two shape into my arm. I'm going to recreate the hand. There is two shape. There are two shape. A cylinder, which is a whistler. I don't know how to say in English. And this is like a cube, like the shape of a cube. I can't make it like that. And actually, I've smoothed level 2 my shape, but my shape is looking like that. So I've created everything into Spline, and then I've put some the two objects into a merge object, so that I can have like one single object, and then I smooth the you know, this. Okay, so I want to add an event to my hand. Let's see this one, how it has been built. Oh, so there is two states like the arm, but so there are two states, one base state and one state, and there is an event which is not like an mouse over event, which is a state change event, which means like I want like when my object arm left change to the state, the second state, which is called state, then I want an action that happen, and this action is I want a transition of my hand, so the target is hand, from current to state in the 0.2 second in an easing movement. And as you can see here, I have an infinite loop with the cycle in ping pong. So it means that it's going to move forever. If I overing my arm, it's going to move forever. But you can see that it also has another little but very significant event, which is the health. So if my state change, my arm left change to state, then I want something happen. But if it's not changing, then I want that my hand comes from the current to the original state, so which is the base state. So let's recreate it for the second hand, which is so arm right, okay, and oh, Figmatelier. Okay, hi Figmatelier. So if I select my hand, sorry, I'm going to create like two states. This one, and the second one is going to be this one. Hi. And then I'm going to create an event, which so I'm going to click on the plus to create an event, and when I click here, instead of saying that I want the event to start at the start, I want the event to start when a state is changing for an object. And the state changing for an object is not my hand, but is my right arm. So if my right arm is going to change to the state 2, so which is called state, I want a transition to the target hand. Maybe I'm going to rename it right, so that is not confusion. And this one left. So come back. So I want my right hand goes from like the current object to state in 0.2 second, and I want it to be an infinite loop in ping-pong repetition. Let's see what happens. So I'm hovering my right arm, and then my right hand is moving, but you can see that if I not hovering anymore my right arm, my right hand is still moving. So this is what I've told you previously. We need to add an else event, which is transition. I want the if the change is not if the state of my right arm is not changing, then else I want my right hand going from a current state in 0.2 to the base state, and no infinite loop or anything else. And then, as you can see, my animation is like the other one, moving perfectly well. Cool. So now we are going to see the second interaction, which is the drag and drop. I don't know if you can hear the little sound each time I select an object. Not this one. But there is like a little sound each time. So let's see how to create this one. So basically, I'm going to recreate just like another ball. So to create, I go quick, so too quick for you maybe. So to create another ball, I'm going on the top menu. I'm going to create, to click on the sphere, the icon of sphere, and then so here I click, and then you can see that like a red selection is happening, and this red selection means that my sphere, if I start creating my sphere from here, it's going to take the ground as like the reference to the start of my shape. If I start from here, it's going to take the end of this little object to start. Same for every object that I can over. So here I'm going to select I'm going to start with the ground as the reference. So it's basically what we want to create, because we want our object to be on the ground. And here I'm going to press to hold the shift to create an object which is proportional each time I drag and drop my mouse. So I'm holding shift, and I'm holding my my left click on my mouse to create my sphere. So I'm going to select and you can see, like, Ctrl Z, if I create my sphere like that and I don't hold shift, I can create like a rugby balloon or anything else which is not perfectly round. So I'm going to hold shift again, and then I'm going to have like a perfect ball. I'm going to select to create like the same more or less the same size of the other ball. And I'm going to add a little material on it. For that, I'm going to select on the hierarchy, I'm going to rename it ball. It make a bloop, yes. Will the spline file be available later? Accessible later? Maybe, I don't know, maybe I will give access. I haven't thought about it before, but let's see. Maybe if people are interested into, I can create some file for you. What I was saying, yes. So the ball is creating, and I want to add a material on my ball. So for that, like I've told you, on the left, I can the left column, I can see that my ball is selected and into the hierarchy, and on the right, there are the setting related to my ball. And here I can see that I can read material. Sorry. That would be cool just to check later on some interaction you mentioned. Thanks in advance. Yeah, okay. I will think about it. Figma Atelier. On the right column there is selection material. And when I click on the 4 dots on the right, I can see different materials that I have already created for this project, and maybe I can select like this blue material, and we are going to reproduce the animation. For that, just double check. We can double check how the animation has been built. So for example, if I click on my ball that is already animated, I can see that there is like a group which is the parent of the actual ball object. And on this ball there is an event which is the mouse over event, and what it into this mouse over event, it said that when the object is when my mouse is overing my object is going to change from current state to state, and the state in question is like the ball bigger. So if I play and I just hover my ball and all my other objects, we can see that there is something that is happening, and it's actually makes the size bigger, making the size bigger. So this is the first event on this object, but there is also like the bucket group, and bucket is also animated, but there is no two state. There is just an event, and the event is simple. It's drag and drop event. So in the drag and drop event, we don't need to have different states because it's going to be related of your own interaction. So when so we are going to see what does this drag and drop effect means. So actually, when my mouse is going to be hovering my object, my cursor is going to change. Let's see if it's real. So if I'm hovering my ball, my cursor is right now a hand, and if I'm not hovering, it's like the normal mouse of the computer. Okay, you can also add different way to see that is hovering. You can just have a hand. You can have like mouse move. Sorry. So let's see what it means. You can see that my mouse is changing from normal to this mouse, and it don't affect the other. It's just affecting the event that I've changed the parameter, the settings. So going to come back to hand. Also, it's a default, which means that there is nothing that happened, but it's not really helpful for the people, for the user, because it's not going to say that this this object has an interaction. So you have to explain with like normal little modification of the mouse that something is going to happen. Okay. Then there is damping. What damping means? It means that when I'm going to move, it's going to follow quickly, like instantly, or it's going to take forever to move. Like if I put the number to 80, let's see what happens. I select my object, and then maybe maybe I'd say something wrong. Maybe it's not this one. Oh, sorry. It should be that, but I don't know why it's not happening. Okay. I don't know. So forget about it. Then we are not going to explain plane mode and everything. We are just going to explain the drop, which is here, the drop, and other settings into the drop. So here we can drop our object, we drag and drop, put the object in another position. We drop it into only the surface, not the object position, which is the gizmo of each object. So we want to drop into the surface of the object and not in the center of the object. I will change it to the center of the object so that it's easier to understand for you. So here it's the center of my scene actually, and actually it's just dragging to the center of my scene. I can't even do anything else, so I'm going to put back to the surface. And then we have like different options, and I'm not going to talk about it, but there is an auto orient or not. For example, we can go back to the bottle and see this auto orient or not, which is more visible than just a super round ball. So if I untick auto orient, let's see what happens. My bottle is going to move like if it was falling on the ground, but if I select auto orient, it's going to always be like I want, I would say. So we are going to keep auto orient or not, and yes, and also there is this little sound that we want to recreate, and for the sound it's just on behavior. You have on drag here, and you can add like whatever behavior you want, but here there is like a specific one, which is sound, and which you can add here by clicking on the plus, and you can add sound, but I'm not going to add again because it's already done. But here you have sound, and if you click on sound, you have different settings that are applied. So here it says when I drag my object, I'm going to play a sound. The sound is going to be pop. So I found it here. There is different little sound here. I can select pop double. The volume is going to be 5. I think it's enough, and I don't want a delay on that. I don't want it to be like in 10 seconds different or something, and I don't want to be like a repetition, like a forever sound that play. I just want it to play once when I have my object, when I drag my object. Okay. So let's recreate it for this ball. Here we want two state of my object. So I'm going to create a state, and it's not going to work if you change your state before creating your state. For example, I change here, and I want to go back to my previous state by clicking here, and I want it to be my second state, but actually it's taking into consideration, once you click on state, creating new state, it's taking in consideration only the state, the last state you have. So if I want to go back to the previous, I have to Alt Shift and reduce the size of my object, and then I have and no, if I change my state, it's always going to change the second state, so I always have to change my second state. So Alt Shift and changing, and here I have my two objects, and I can see that. Okay, so first you create a state with the normal size and second state and make it bigger. Yes, exactly. Always like that, bigger or smaller, or another state, but another position, another scale, another thing like that. But always the first state is always the state that is going to be at the beginning. But you can see that here, when I and I change my states, my two states, there is something that is not really perfect, because I feel that the object is just the position of the object is just moving a bit on the right. So I'm going to move also the position on the left, and then almost good. Yeah, here I really have the feeling that is pumping, becoming a bit bigger. Nope, sorry. So now we have to create the mouse over event, which has been the mouse over event, which we have created just before. So I click on plus. Instead of start, I'm going to change to mouse over here. And for the mouse over, when my mouse is hovering my object, I want to create a transition between the current state to the state 2 of my ball in 0.2 seconds in an easing in and out movements. I don't want a loop, and yes, so let's see what happened. Okay, I have this effect. But now I want to add the drag and drop. And the problem if I add the drag and drop event directly into my my object, not passing by another group, not passing by the parent of my of a group that which is would be a parent of my object, is that I like, how can I explain? Because it's a drag and drop, when I'm going to over my object, is going to make my ball a bit bigger, because when I'm overing my object, this is the event that we just have made, is going to make the ball bigger. But if I drag and drop and then I'm not overing anymore my object, the object is going to change to state 2 to state 1, which is which has been registered with a specific position related to the world, because there is no group under it, related to the world, and which specific size related to the world. So to be more specific, if I create like an event here, I'm going to create like a drag and drop event. So I want the cursor to be hand, no dumping. I want the object to be drag, to be the ball. I want the drop to be on the surface of each object. I want no auto-orient object, and I want to make my object to stay in drop it position. Normally, I would like to have that. Let's see what happens. So I select my object. I want my ball to be in this position, but when I not overing anymore my object, which is not anymore here, but it's difficult to explain with this bug, I would say. My object is going to come back to my state 1, because it's not because my mouse is not hovering anymore my object. So to not have this bug, I will remove my drag and drop event here, and I'm going to create a parent of my object, of my ball, which actually will be the related parents. So my ball is going to be each time, the position of my ball is going to be each time in 0, 0, 0, but related to the parent position. So if how to create a null is I'm clicking on the plus on the top bar, and I'm create like a group, and then I'm going to put my ball into the bucket. Oh, I don't know how to spell it right. Okay, I'm going to put my ball into the bucket. So my bucket is going to be my parent of my object, and you can see that the bucket is not exactly. We are not going to do like that. We are going to first put the bucket in as a child of my ball, the children of my ball, and we are going to make the position of my group 0, 0, 0. So it's going to be not happening exactly how I would like to this happen. I'm just going to change the position of my gizmo, of my null, like that. So it's going to be each time on the bottom of my object. And then I'm going to put my bucket as the parent of my object. So my object is going to move when when another is going to move. But now I'm going to add an event on my bucket. So I'm going to add a drag and drop event. Drag and drop. I want when my cursor is hovering my bucket, I want the cursor to change to an hand. So let's see. Okay, so it happened. And then I want no dumping. I want that my object, when my bucket object is going to be dragged, I want then to this object to be dropped in the surface of my object, my other objects. I don't want auto orient, and I want to this object to stay in the dropped position. And then when I select my object, you can see that when I'm not hovering my object anymore, my object is going to stay in the position I have chosen. So it's because the mouse over event is going to be related to the ball, which is the children of my bucket, which is the parent, and the parent is going to be like the reference of the position of my children. And also I want when I'm dragging, I want to add a transition. No, not transition. I want to add sound, and I want this to play. Which play? I want to play pop. I want the volume to be 5, and I don't want to be a loop. So let's see if it's working well. Yes, perfectly well. So yes, that was the different state I wanted, interaction and animation I wanted to show you for this live. So as it has been asked on the chat, maybe this scene is going to be available. I would say I will see how I can make it available. But yeah, this is basically what I wanted to explain to you guys, and I hope you liked it. So each Thursday there is going to be a live around 7:30 p.m. 11:30 or 8:30. You're welcome. It's a bit complicated to spell, to name your name, because I guess it was like a French name, so I said it in English. It's a bit complicated. Hello Celia, do you upload this file into community? I will see if I upload it into community or if I do another way. I will see. But if you have question, let me know. Otherwise, thank you, Andrea Mora, to be here to listen the class, and Figma Atelier too. Yes, I'm French also, previously from Gobelin. Yes, Gobelin it's my school. So for the other people that are looking on the chat, and I really recommend this school because it's so fun, so cool, so great. So thank you for following the live. I hope you enjoyed it, and so if you don't have an other question, I will say bye. So thank you so much, and see you in 1 week. Bye.